Chief Minister Dr Pramod, my friend, our Cabinet Minister, Minister for Industries, Panchayat, Shri Mavin Mudino, the guest of honor and the keynote speaker for today, Mr. V. Shantakumar, the President of Goa Chamber, Shri Ralph D'Souza, the Vice President, Shri Srinivas Ganpo, the Honorable Secretary, Goa Chamber, Shri Yatin Kakurkar, the past President of the Chamber, my friend, Mr. Manoj Kakulo, Mr. Chandrakant Gauss, the President of Goa Small Industries, Mr. Kochkar, all my friends from the industry, different government officials, electronic media, press, ladies and gentlemen. It definitely gives me pleasure and I'm privileged to be here for this August function. Goa Chamber has always been close to my heart. Being a part of the industry always gives you insight from the other side, how the industry functions and what the industry wants from the government. Being a part of the government, you understand it much better when it comes to deliverables. Mr. V. Shantakumar has nicely put things on what Goa is. And I strongly believe it will be there in every mind and soul of every Goan, that as we look to retain our identity, our culture, our ethos right, we need to take the challenges ahead as times come in. He spoke about COVID. COVID definitely had a different perspective. The 114th meeting has taken place after 2 years. And it's a joyful moment for the members of the chamber to come and meet, exchange their thoughts, think about the issues, what they need to take ahead. And maybe think about how Goa can be more industry friendly and how things can be better in Goa. At the same time, at the same time of COVID, the new culture started coming in. Work from home was a culture which came in during COVID in a much larger extent. When it came from work from home, there were more challenges in terms of connectivity and the rest of the things which came in. And I believe during the same time, our Honorable Prime Minister mooted the 3 T's, trade, tourism and technology, which was basically to boost the Indian economic diplomacy. Ease of doing business was being discussed. And at the same time, important policy decisions took place in the country, wherein Indo-border manufacturing and related policies took a turn. Make in India was a front runner, and a lot of companies in the country and in our state were able to take a lot of advantage of this type of situations. I would like to highlight, mention it to Mr. Shantakumar that we as Goa, I've been talking about Goa as golden opportunities available, GOA, and that's exactly what we have. We have a big thing which the other states miss out. There's the quality of life. And this is the quality of life which attracts every person from different segments, whether it's the industry or the academia or creative guys who come here, not only to work from this place, but to pick up a better feel as they start delivering. COVID taught them one more thing, that money is not everything, and they have a life to sustain. So these ideas being taken ahead, coming now as a tourism and IT minister again, there are challenges which I have been talking to the Chief Minister. We have been doing a lot of stuff in the last 2.5 months under the guidance of the Chief Minister, and he has been able to give us able support. The industry will have its own challenges of putting things across when they talk about investments in Goa. We need to give a picture of saying Goa is safe. We have clean beaches, safe beaches. We are secularly ensuring that every person is looked upon as Atithi Devo Bhava. In the hospitality sector, when we start talking about it, is the hotel industry or the overall tourism thing. When we need to start thinking what we are looking for. Is it the quantum or is it the quality? Goa is a preferred destination irrespectively whether we like to sell or no. but the per capita spend, what we are getting in the last few number of data which I could take out, is not to the expectation what we would want. One of the major channels of revenue to give back as a contribution to the economy of Goa. Mining was there, and maybe to a certain extent will be there. But the contribution to GDP, what is to happen, is no longer there, and cannot depend upon mining to be a major contributor. I've been interested in the portfolios of tourism and IT. And I remember when Manoj was there, we were taking the plan of making Goa a knowledge destination. Our Chief Minister, Dr Pramod also had the same thought that we need to move this to be a knowledge destination. Knowledge destination will prove to be two things. One, it will increase the intellectual capabilities or skill sets of our people. At the same time, we will start creating another economic vertical for the state. From the tourism perspective, we have a contribution of roughly 16.4% to the GDP, and the challenge is how do we double it? And if we need to double it, there will be ways and means by way it will happen naturally. MOPA will be, I think, if it works in the right direction, everything works in the right direction, will be the biggest game changer. I've been vocal in my last speeches also that it was Chogam earlier, which changed the scenario as far as Goa was concerned. And now it's going to be MOPA. When it comes in, I think 15th of August is the proposed date. The Chief Minister may be able to highlight on that. But once these operations started, imagine what we are looking at from Goa. The restrictions of doubling will reduce. Connectivity will be easier. They are looking at cargo, they are looking at passenger traffic, they are looking at MRO. Goa, fortunately, we have all the best of the connectivity in terms of road, air and port. I think Goa must be the only state where the port and the airport is so well connected and so nearly connected. All we need to do is how do we create this advantage in an advantageous position for the investors who are coming in. The major challenge for us today, politically or as government, is to create the employment scenario right. We need to make a scenario where we cross the bridge between the job givers and the job seekers. We need to create a scenario where self-employment is easily done and we get these opportunities to them. And I think in this domain of tourism and IT, there are a lot of things that can be done. From the sun, sand and sea, we have moved to the sun, sand, sea and software. Infrastructure-wise, the next 6 months we'll see a lot of co-working spaces, new industries coming in. The plan is on. Social media has become a tool that minute we want to talk something that becomes a point of discussion. Some take it rightly, some take it wrongly. The government is working in the right direction. We are having our policies coming out. Implementation of those policies as far as IT sector is happening is going out in the right direction. 3 parts we have taken as priorities. One is the connectivity. Many of us would want to have a seamless drive when we drive from Panjim to Vasco or Panjim to Margao. We wouldn't want disturbance in our connectivity. Along with the Chief Minister, we have come up with a plan of fiber to the home. What is fiber to the home? Fiber to the home will be another amenity, just like a basic amenity like water connection and electricity connection, given to every household. And maybe we may be the first to achieve this by 2024, which we are trying out along with our Honorable CM. If achieved, we should be able to give every house a connectivity with the option that we can take it. Right from the education levels where people have suffered during the COVID times to the business, to work from home culture, everybody is going to get a backbone of this connectivity. Second, you can clap a little louder. The government is investing in it. Second is the infrastructure. Startup culture is coming. I think 91 Springboard has been one of the pioneers as far as the domain in Goa was concerned. We were happy to invite them and we were happy to take a pitch and put them in the right board. As Springboard has grown in, there are a lot of co-working spaces. Baba Denko has been very supportive in all our IT decisions or initiatives what we have taken. In the last 10 years, we asked him to open a co-working space when he was thinking what should be done, who will take it. I can today say that every co-working space, wherever it is, every seat is sold out. Every industry today is looking for a co-working space. Everyone wants a space to work out with a new culture coming in, and that's exactly what we have taken as a priority in our domain. As we start creating these hybrid clusters, we start creating co-working spaces on beach destinations. We are also going on a spree where we are creating inventory of spaces where any investor coming in can, on a click of a button, get to know what is available as far as the state is concerned, pick and choose his area, and then start his operations as fast as possible. This becomes a part of ease of doing business where the industry coming in need not keep running around. We talk about a single window system, that's what we are trying to enact. IPB has been there, and I think a lot of teething issues can be solved out with investments through the IPB, where we also need a lot of areas coming in under IPA, the investment promotional areas. These areas will give a lot of comfort to the industries who are coming down, who otherwise, sometimes in the past, have carried a bad memory or would like to come back to Goa for investments today. The tourism sector, from the sea, sun, sand and sea, we are moving to the hinterlands. All of you will agree that whether it's the monsoon or no, the hinterlands are as good or better than what the sun, sand and sea can talk about. The people who come to Goa normally would come and stay at the sun, sand and sea, and the word I think Mr. Shantakumar used, who would like to have fun, would come to Goa. We have people coming here, historically, who are very serious bird watchers. They belong to this bird watching fan club. You have so many people coming in different verticals, but they do not know where to explore. Instagram or social media tools have been the only tools for them to explore and come and go ahead. Today, with technology driven, we have taken GEL on board and we are going with the GIS platform, where a click of a button and an app which we will be launching soon will give you every destination what you would like to come and explore as an independent traveler or a group traveler who would like to go and get into the hinterlands, get into ecotourism, stay in those spaces. We are getting our policies right as far as the homestays are concerned. We are looking ambitiously at signing with OYO, Airbnb type of people, because as we regulate the system, we also have a particular level of handling these particular homestays. We will have much more tourists which will come and use these facilities. All in all, what we are trying to say is Goa is abundantly rich in culture and heritage. If I ask you a question, why can't Goa, like the Chief Minister says about Goa being the tourism capital of the country, and I strongly endorse it, saying that it should be, because we need to be a tourism capital in every manner that we can. Why can't we be a gastronomy capital of the country? I think when we come down to Goa, any tourist comes down to Goa, or we as Goans, other than enjoying of fish curry and rice, we have so much of cuisines that can be seen, that can be tasted, when people specially come back just to endorse this type of culinary or culinary treats. In the recent past, although we have not mapped it, slowly Goa is becoming the manufacturing hub of homemade jeans. Can we be the capital of homemade jeans? The detours what we go when we go abroad, we start getting into one big factory of one of the labeled malt companies, and we are actually feeling a nice journey as we take a tour around the place, feel that particular place, how the whole thing is distilled and everything. And that tour itself, when we come out, we realize that the pocket has gone a little low, but we have had a tour and we have understood what the thing is. Every aspect of Goa needs to be looked at. And very importantly, when I'm talking about how we take about tourism and IT ahead, it is the Goa Chamber whom we today call upon to help us in two aspects. One is the data right. If you ask about the tourism footfalls, like Ralph Babs talked about his tourism part of Goa Chamber, I would today call upon the Goa Chamber to help the government put certain things in place. If I need to know the foreign exchange happening in the state, I don't have the data right, and I should be talking about it. If we have the foreign exchange right, we know what the type of tourists coming in. And if we know what the type of tourists coming in, we know that what type of infrastructure, what are their needs and what we need to create to actually attract this type of high spending tourists to Goa. If a tourist can go to a high spending destination and spend there, why not Goa? How can we change this quality? How can we improve the skill sets? How can we create the industry requirements, what the industry needs and what we have as employment? The Chief Minister also says that everybody cannot be given government jobs, and practically it cannot be done. I think Goa must be having the highest number of government jobs, roughly about 21 per person. So if you start with that equation, 1 for every 21. So if you start working in these equations, you can't think about that rather than creating further opportunities. Startup is going to create a new ecosystem for the people, the young entrepreneurs, the so-called millennials. The IT industry per se, we are working very closely. Baba Dempo is a part of the Goa Angel Network. Baba Dempo chairs the Goa Angel Network. He is a part of the Goa Advisory Board, which we are proposing to put under the Honorable Chief Minister, which will give a wider perspective of how we need to take IT ahead. The biggest challenge today is the skilled manpower is already employed, and the industry wants to come in its manpower, whether it's Mamin's portfolios of industry per se when it comes to MSME and other sectors of our technology-driven sectors. How do we bridge this gap? How do we get this part together? And this is exactly where we call upon the chamber to come and support the government with your ideas, your initiatives. We have always been of the view that the industry and the academia and the government needs to work together. And we need to have this driven model so that when we have enough inputs from the academy, like Mr. Shantakumar was deeply noting, he's gone on the micro level saying that we need more educational institutes, and I fully endorse his views. But we need to understand the people of Goa, as they are looking for jobs, they need to have a wider scope of imagination than activism. We need to have IIT, right? We need to have the NITs, we need to have more colleges, we need to have more people coming out from these particular educational institutes, which will be there for us when we talk about supporting industries who look at employment. And if we are able to channelize this, I can say one thing very proudly, that Goa is a population of 15 lakh. A 15 lakh population with proper driven policies and ensuring that we are able to tap the unemployment scenario right, we can proudly say that we can be the first state to achieve 100% unemployment to employment conversion if the chamber and the government and the academia work together. There are many things that the government is doing, and I think which you all should appreciate. The land grabbing cases, insecurity of goals was one of the biggest hindrance to people who used to come in. A lot of people who have been staying abroad had the insecurity of their own properties being there or not being there. I have been very vocal in the opposition, and coming here also I was talking to the Chief Minister. I'm very happy, and on this forum I would like to thank him also for this initiative of forming the SIT, getting the things right, so the land grabbers are being taken to task. At the same time, the people who have had their properties are able to get their properties back. Secondly, when we have these issues and challenges of tourism, why would a tourist come in? When we go to the coastal belt, what was Kalandut when we were children, when we were kids, and what it is now? I can't remember when I last visited Kalandut beach myself before coming into the tourism ministry. And that's exactly what we need to change. So many illegalities in the belt need to be hit with the iron hand. And I'm happy that the Chief Minister has taken this task as a front person, running this with a whip, trying to cleanse out these particular illegalities, which in the days to come will speak out for the quality tourists to come here and have a jolly good time. When I'm saying jolly good time, it talks about the quality of tourism that we want to give the people. There are a lot of things which I can keep talking about, but I believe the Goa Chamber has given me 10 minutes, and the Chief Minister says he has to go at 8 o'clock. So we can keep this for the later day, but my only suggestion or my only thing is that we need more people from the industry voluntarily coming and giving their inputs, as Mr. Shantakumar said, that if we need to make Goa to what he was talking about, म्हाका दिसलें एक स्वप्न कोण तरी सांगता म्हणून ते स्वप्न साकार करपा जाय जाल्यार I think the government is there. Marvin always is vocal about saying we have the best cabinet. Young, experience, maturity, hot blood, aggression, everything is in the cabinet, one of the best because he's a very senior member. And if he has spoken about this, I think the government under Dr. Pramod can use all these departments and the ministers concerned to work together to give the governance the people of Goa deserve. At the same time, we believe that the Chamber of Goa, small industries or CII have a dominant role to play to ensure that the thoughts of the government go in the right direction. I thank the Goa Chamber for having called me today as a guest of honor for this function. I will always be there to cooperate and extend my cooperation to the issues that all of you will have in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kato. With the stoppage of mining and slowdown of the tourism sector, it was the manufacturing sector which rose to the occasion and kept the Goan economy running. The manufacturing sector has its own set of problems, lack of quality power, irregular supply of water, so on and so forth. But with a senior minister like Mr. Marvin Gudino in charge, the sector has hopes that most of these issues will be addressed at the earliest, and the manufacturing sector will be able to play its meaningful role in the state economy. It's my pleasure to invite the Honorable Industries Minister, Mr. Marvin Gudino, to address this gathering. Mr. Gudino, please.
The chief guest for the 114th Annual General Body Meeting of the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, our young and dynamic Dr. Pramod Sawant, my good friend and my colleague, a dynamic minister in the cabinet who looks after the all-important tourism portfolio, Mr. Rohan Kaunte, the President of Goa Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Raghu D'Souza, the Vice President, Mr. Srinivas Dempo, Mr. Yatin Kakodkar, Mr. Sanjay, Mr. V. Shantakumar, who was very vivid in explaining to us what he feels about Goa, Mr. Manoj Kakulo, Mr. Chandrakant Gawas, members of the press, and all you, I would say, all you big captains of industry as far as Goa is concerned, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be with you this evening for your annual general body meeting. And it is pleasing that this particular meeting is taking place in person, especially after the COVID period we all have experienced. It is said COVID has produced many new normals. And I think the new normal, what Goans have learned, experienced and are doing is, with the realization that we all have to pull up our socks, we have to move forward in a manner like never before. And for that, you need cooperation, you need collaboration, you need support, you need synergies to be combined. And the most important signal that goes to industry, to tourism, to all the stakeholders who matter in building an economy is through a government. And I will start by saying, it is not like complimenting ourselves, but it is the fact, what Mr. Rohan Kaunte said. We have a young and dynamic Chief Minister. And I say with all the emphasis and pride that for the first time we have a very balanced cabinet. It is up to our leader, up to our Chief Minister to marshal those forces and get the best for Goa. Similarly, today is your annual general body meeting. You are taking stock of what has happened in the past, how you are going to move forward in the future, what is the industrial activity you are going to do for the future, what is the commercial activity, what are the businesses which we need to adopt new practices, to live with the times and yet be relevant. These are things which you must be pondering, discussing and moving forward. But to the Goan industrialists, as the industrial minister, I want to say something. We are resourceful of talent. We are capable people. But we have been functioning as of date in a manner that we are perhaps content with what we have and we try to do a little more. But times have changed. You have to do much more. You have to take more risks. You have to look far beyond what activity you are already doing. And you have the capability. Today, with us functioning not to the optimal level, as we have said, we are Sasegat Goans, the things are changing, the narrative is changing and changing a lot. But while this narrative is changing, we need to move at a very high speed. Look at our own industrial scenario. Look at the scenario in other states. Ease of doing business, what we talk about. How we are both going to collaborate and see this happening. As Industries Minister, I want to tell you that I am in the process of tweaking our industrial policy in such a manner. What were the past practices? You apply for a permission, you run from department to department, and then to get permission perhaps you take a year or year and a half. You are half exhausted, and actually you need, by the time it goes into production, so many things change. What project report you have presented changes. The economics of that changes. Therefore, in keeping with the times, I am happy to inform you, I have already put it in public domain, just on a mere declaration, one common form of application which will go to all the departments. We will be happy to give industry permission to straight away set up their businesses with allocation of land totally handed over to the IDC. Government will not be a part of it. Investment Promotion Board will only be a facilitator. Investment Promotion Board will only be giving permissions. Thereafter, giving the land, I have told my Honorable Chief Minister, give it to the Industrial Development Corporation, which is responsible for building the infrastructure, getting the land, who is to be given how much, in what way, what according to the type of industry would be the job of the IPB. You have people from all the departments sitting there. So, this is going to be the major change to attract industry. When this policy is introduced in the assembly, and when I tweak that, you will see how fast the projects will start materializing. But even with the limited things that we had at our disposal, I want to say here, Goa has done exceptionally well. And may I compliment the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry for exceptionally doing well. Even during the COVID period, you all did not sit back. I am saying this because Goa is on the march. The short tenure that our government might have had under Dr. Pramod Sawant in the last years particularly, we have taken a quantum jump. Look at the infrastructure that is being built in Goa. Look at the bridges that have come up. Look at the time you are taking to travel. Short time of travel, easier commuting means saving of fuel, saving your precious time, giving you more time to plan, to execute, move forward, to do what you are doing. So this is one of the most important thing, ease of doing business. With MOPA coming up, you will have hordes of people coming. Rohan has to get prepared for more tourists coming, more flights coming. We have to build the infrastructure for those tourists. We have to realize sun, sand, all that is going to be passed after some time. When we talk of hinterland tourism, we have to talk of building also infrastructure there where tourists will be happy to go. There are so many things that we have not explored. Goa is a God-blessed place. Like I keep telling, Kerala advertises, what does it say? God's own country. But I said, the gods dwell in Goa. Therefore, people prefer Goa, the most preferred destination. Everybody loves Goa. So why not have a healthy balance of healthy tourism, high-spending tourists coming here? Why not have environment-friendly, more industries coming here? Why not have an ecosystem where Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry allow all businesses to prosper? Why not the commerce increasing? Why can't we become an international hub as far as logistics is concerned? If we all collaborate, it can be done. We are blessed by nature. You have the best port, you have a natural harbour, you are going to have 2 airports, you have the railway. All this is there, we are God blessed. But sometimes I want Goa Chamber of Commerce also to say vocally what you people feel. Whether it is the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, whether it is sometimes the CII, the other body, whether it is the Tourism Association, what good is done will never get complimented. So people feel the negatives in our society, the negative people, the activists, they feel what they are doing is correct. Because that gets blown up on the social media, it gets blown up on the press, in all forms of communication, and to positively compliment what good is being done, there is no one. So it is the only negative things come up, it gets floating, it keeps floating up. So it is also your responsibility. Dashe avi mutta, walacher sukhe jotta, sukhacher walai jotta. Everything gets burnt out. So where is the chance for the person trying to do good, introduce a good policy, get good projects to proceed forward? This government has got the intent to do good things for Goa. Whether it is building up the industry, whether it is building up the educational sector in a manner that we have more intellectuals, we have more learned people, which already is there. Today we are a resource for many international organizations. Our people go all over the world, leaving Goa. But we have to create the opportunity for them to stay in Goa. Since those opportunities are not there even for the limited people who are educated, who get well qualified, they move elsewhere. So it is up to you. We have never said no to good ideas, what your chamber will submit to us or what other associations give us. Let us follow a new normal. Let us not be Sushegar. The time for Sushegar are over. I want to tell our Goans. It is like a simple thing. We have seen even the taxi meters in the tourism trade, how much the taxi people have resisted us. Not only they resisted us, in spite of giving free meters, now they are not charging. They are convincing the tourists and they are putting it in the words from the mouth of the tourists. Like, we don't need meter, we are comfortable without the meter. What is this happening? So I started a new rethink as the transport minister. Why not have Ola and Uber coming to Goa? Let Goan people enjoy cheap transport. It should happen. Should 6,000 tourist taxis hold us to ransom? Should they hold to ransom a 15 lakh population and a 40 lakh population which comes, that means almost 55-60 lakh people to ransom? Should they not have the luxury of sitting in a car and availing free commuting at the cheapest transport mode available? Which world are we living on? So there are many new things what we have to introduce, but that can happen if you are little vocal. You have to be vocal for the good things. I see silence sometimes on the good things happening from you and the different organizations. If you are vocal, we will also be encouraged to do the right thing. And then we will be able to move forward. And in spite of doing something right, the government gets so much clobbered, then people start believing what is wrong. So this should not happen in society. We are educated people. Today, if you look at the general scenario, we seem to be getting totally confused. And with so much, it's like Goan stood saying over and over some wrong thing, people start believing that is the truth. And we had to face it even in our own electoral battle. But I compliment the people of Goa in spite of whatever that was told to them. In a democracy, even one is a majority. We won the largest number of votes. That's why we are sitting in the government with the support of the people. Even you have contributed, all have contributed. Because ultimately, we have to realize that we are a small state. And today, with media, with social media becoming a big thing, the smallest thing that we do gets magnified. Luckily for us, we are moving in a situation where every side there is performance which is seen with active support from the central government. If at all your bridges have come up, your so much infrastructure is built up thanks to the Union Surface Transport Ministry led by Nitin Gadkari, our own Prime Minister giving us so much of support, other ministers coming in and recently Honorable Chief Minister, as I say, the International Arbitration Center or the Law Center which was inaugurated at Sankwal, this speaks that we are really moving forward. But to move forward, we need your support. And I look forward to the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, not only going through the mundane things of reading your annual report and presenting to us figures. You have to see how to build up on that. You have to travel that extra mile. I want to tell Mr. Ralph D'Souza and all your colleagues, all you people, just as you expect us to travel extra mile, I expect the industry also to travel extra mile. Everyone can do it. And we Goans have got it in us. And when I formulate my industrial policy, there are two things. The local prosperous industry will have no difficulty expanding. I have said it very clearly. And my Chief Minister is fully supporting me. Whether they want land, they want to expand, they want to set up any other activity, they will be given preference. At the same time, equally supportive, the government will be of new industry, eco-friendly industry which will be coming. Let us create that new environment of working. Let us compete with the world. Today, these are times these are times of out of the box thinking. सुशेगाद रावण तितले चित्तले सुशेगाद माझे जाता डिस्पोटका सुटले इतले प्रॉफिट येतात. Let us move beyond that. We cannot stay at the static. The world is dynamic. Situations are dynamic. With emerging dynamic situations, with you see in your neighborhood so much of progress, you see in other states so much of progress. Goa was much ahead than all of them. Not that we have gone down. If you look at all our parameters, we will always remain on top. So let us remain on top and move little higher. Let that be the emphasis. I could have said much more, but I don't want to say more because Honorable Chief Minister has to go. But I simply want to conclude by saying, I have great hopes in the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. At your 114th meeting, when you deliberate in your sessions, please come out with new ideas. Our prosperous industrialists, our prosperous businesses who have got various other facets of business who have launched successfully, think of expanding, think of doing something new. Take a little more risk and you will see that you are better than the best in the rest of the country. Don't show going this Sushegar and content with small thing. Have that hunger and appetite for really doing much bigger things. You will succeed in doing it, and if government will fully be with you, we will give you all the support, and with that, if we move forward, it will be a different Goa altogether. And I want to say one thing. Goa, as Shantakumar was saying, I always say whenever I go, and because I said it is where God's dwell, is one place you must realize, it is where ideas automatically propel in your mind. Anyone, you may be a writer, you may be an artist, you may be an industrialist. When they come here, you may be an engineer. When they come here, the top people, they tell me some different magic works in us. We get new ideas, and they really told me. And I hope that magic works in Goans. It is there in you much more than what other people get ideas when they come here. Let us germinate them into something really good. Let that tree grow and flourish. Let Goa flourish. Let us all jointly flourish. Let that be the mantra. And with this, I wish you all the best, and I hope Goan industry, Goan tourism, and every other facet of Goa will be a shining example for all to follow. It will be Goa first. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Gudino. It's always a pleasure to listen to the reassuring and calm voice of our young and ebullient Chief Minister. So without any further ado, I invite the Honorable Chief Minister, Dr. Pramod to tell us about his vision for Goa and how the business community can complement your efforts. गोयचे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री Dr. Pramod Sawant.
Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industries च्या 114th Annual General Body Meeting माझ्या बरोबर बाब रोहन खवटे, Minister for Industries and Tourism, for Tourism and IT, Industries Minister Babin Gudino, Keynote Address Speaker V. Shantakumar. खरं म्हटल्यार हांव वचपा खातीर आयिल्लो, बट व्ही शांताकुमार हांचें भाशण आयकल्या उपरांत म्हाका तें पुराय आयकून सगळ्या कार्यक्रमांक रावान दिसलो तेंय सांगलां. President of the Goa Chamber of Commerce, राल्फ डिसोजा, बरोबर एक्स इमिडिएट पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट मनोज काकुलो, फर्स्ट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट श्रीनिवास डेम्पो, सेकंड वाइस प्रेसिडेंट प्रतिमा धोन, सेक्रेटरी यतीन काकोडकर, ट्रेजरर चंद्रकांत गावस, डायरेक्टर जनरल संजय आमोणकर आणि त्याचबरोबर बाकीचे सगळे मेंबर्स, इंडस्ट्रीज सेक्टरांतले सगळे मेंबर्स, म्हाका दिसता 114 टेन्युअर जनरल बॉडी आमी आज एड्रेस करता. मला खूप खोस भोगता. म्हणजे भारत देश स्वतंत्र आमी आता आझादी का अमृत महोत्सव मनयता, 75वो देशाचो स्वतंत्र दीस मनयता. आणि त्याचबरोबर गोंयांत म्हणजे गोवा चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स अँड इंडस्ट्रीज त्याचो 114वी आमी जनरल बॉडी घेता. खरोखरूच सांगता म्हणजे फावंडर तेन्नाचे ताचें विजन कितें आसतलें तेन्ना चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स फॉर्म करता आसतना ड्युरींग द पोर्तुगीज रिजीम तांच्यांनी गोंयच्या इकॉनॉमीचो विचार केलो, गोंयच्या इंडस्ट्रीचो विचार केलो आणि सगळ्यांक एकत्र रित्या हाडून वेगवेगळी इंडस्ट्री हांगा रिफॉर्म कशी जातली. डेफिनेटली गोंयच्या भाग्य विधात्याच्या बरोबर तांचेंय नांव घेवप हें तितकेंच म्हत्वाचें आसा. म्हाका दिसता हांव त्या सगळ्या फावंडर मेंबर्स आणि आतांचे मेंबर्स हांकां सगळ्यांक कॉंग्रॅच्युलेट करता. आणि टायम टू टायम तुमी सगळे जाण आमी पळयता की वेगवेगळ्या बोर्डाचेर वेगवेगळे कडेन आमी तुमकां वी आर गिविंग द रिप्रेझेंटेशन ऑफ द वेरियस बोर्ड, वेरियस कॉर्पोरेशन्स. यू पीपल आर ऑल्सो यू गिविंग द डिफरंट सजेशन्स फॉर द गव्हर्मेंट. आमी वेळच्या वेळेर तुमचे सजेशन्स केन्नाच ना म्हणूंक ना. थोड्या दिसा पयलीं राल्फ आणि बाबा श्रीनिवास हांच्यांनी म्हाका इन्वायट केल्लो. And along with my entire team, CS, secretary, all people, we are sitting in the Chamber of Commerce. They have given us so many suggestions. Definitely, I have given the instruction to my different departments to go through that. And for the ease of doing the business and for the various things, जो hurdles asa for the industries, ताजेर आमकां काम करचें पडटलें. आनी within a short period, आतांच बाब रोहन उलयलो, मावीन उलयलो, हाज्या उपरांत तुमकां दिसून येता आसतलें फुडल्या 6 म्हयन्या भितर तुमकां वेरियस चेंजीस दिसतले. हांव पळयतालो की आमकां एक रोहनान म्हटलें तशें स्वप्न दाखयलें, बाबी शांताकुमार, आनी आमकां एक बरें स्वप्न दाखयलें. बट तें स्वप्न साकार करपाचें काम तुमचें आमचें आसा. म्हाका हें स्वप्न साकार करच्या पयलीं एक ल्हानशी अटलजीची कविता याद जाता. छोटे मन से कोई बडा नहीं होता, टूटे मन से कोई खडा नहीं होता. आमी जर हांगाच हिरमुसले जाले आणि हे जर स्वप्न साकार जावचें ना म्हटलें जाल्यार जावचें ना न्हू. आमी सगळ्यांनी आमी विजन पळोवचें पडटलें, आमी सगळ्यांनी हें स्वप्न पळोवचें पडटलें. हांवें इतक्याच खातीर सांगलें, हांव तो उलयता आसतना हांव कंटिन्युअसली आयकतालो की ताचें विजन कितें आसा. एखादो म्हणजे विजिटर म्हणून गोंयांत येता, एस्टाब्लीश करता आपलो आनी तो गोंयकार जाता आनी ताका प्राऊड फील जाता की आपूण गोंयकार करता आसतना. आनी गोंयच्या बद्दल तेजें विजन जर तेणी पळयलें, हांव प्रत्येक सेक्टरांत जर पळयतालो आसत 50% बेज वी हॅव गिव्ड. हांव कित्याक सांगता तर तेंच्यांनी एड्युकेशनाच्या बद्दल उलयलें. एड्युकेशनाच्या बद्दल जर उलयतले आसत जाल्यार आमी प्रायवेट युनिव्हर्सिटी एक्ट पास केला. आमच्या कडेन डिझायन युनिव्हर्सिटी खातीर ऑलरेडी जे सालगांवकार एप्लायड फॉर द युनिव्हर्सिटी एंड वी हॅव गिवन परमिशन फॉर द डिझायन कॉलेज, डिझायन इंजिनियरींग कॉलेज, फॅशन डिझायनिंग कॉलेज, सॉरी. तांच्यांनी MIT Institute of Pune, different institute, 2-3 universities have approached. For the MIT University, we have given the permission. NIT already completed the shifting into the new campus. For the IIT, we are giving the already the land. तांच्यांनी उलयता आसतना आर्ट कॉलेजच्या बद्दल उलयलें. फॉर युअर इन्फॉर्मेशन, आमी आर्ट कॉलेज नवीन बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन करता. इन माय टेन्युअर वी हॅव स्टार्टेड 2 पोस्ट ग्रॅज्युएशन कोर्सेस इन आर्ट. With an applied art and something else, we had already started. In my tenure, architecture colleges and designs ह्या विशयाचेर उलयलें. In my last tenure, I started the 2 post-graduation courses in architect college. Already, we are giving the new building for the architecture college. Let's talk about the educationच्या बाबतीत उलयता आसतना oldest pharmacy college in Asia we have. We had already started the post-graduation in the pharmacy. We are giving the new building for the pharmacy college this year. We are putting the foundation stone. तांच्यांनी उलयता आसतना they have talked about the PPP, public-private partnership. Yes, of course, it is not possible for the government to invest in each and everything. सगळ्या हितून गव्हर्मेंट इन्व्हेस्टच करूंक शकना आनी गव्हर्मेंटान जर इन्व्हेस्ट केलें जाल्यार तें चलूंकच शकना. म्हणून तर सांगता PPP सांगता आसतना आमी ऑलरेडी कन्वेन्शन सेंटर, इट इज नॉट ओनली द वन प्रोजेक्ट. आम्ही आमचो PPP डिव्हिजन एक्टिवेट केला. इट इज बेट्टोणाचे मरीन स्कूल जे आसा हे आम्ही PPP बेसिसचेर वी आर आस्किंग फॉर द इंटरनॅशनल प्लेयर टू कम इन द स्टेट ऑफ गोवा. आमच्याकडे आताच रिसेंटली मिरामार जस्ट रिसेंट रोहन हे विजिटेड वॉटर स्पोर्ट्स इन्स्टिट्यूशन्स all India level चे water sports institutions we have in Miramar already started building kaitari machi incomplete ulla but we will complete this in with short tenure. We are starting up with the AIMS level Ayush College of the AIMS All India Institute of the Medical Science Ayush Institute. म्हणजे कदाचित कोणी जर पळोवना आशिल्लें आमी सगळे जाण मोपाचेर उलयता पण ताका तेंकूनच आशिल्ली AIMS कॉलेज एम्साची आयुष कॉलेज दीस इयर वेळ पडलो जाल्यार इन जुलय मंथ आयुष कॉलेज आम्ही स्टार्ट करता. ताच्यानी उलयता आसतना फिल्म सिटीचेर उलयले ताच्यानी उलयता आसतना बाकीचे सगळे म्हणजे दीस ऑलरेडी वी हॅव ओपन द प्लॅटफॉर्म थ्रू द PPP बेस. म्हणजे PPP डिव्हिजन आम्ही इतले ओपन दवरला. दोज वॉन्ट टू इन्वेस्ट इन द प्रायव्हेट लँड ऑल्सो अँड दोज वॉन्ट टू इन्वेस्ट समवेअर इन द गव्हर्मेंट लँड. आणि SITचो विशय काडलो मुद्दा म्हणून म्हणजे आतापर्यंत गव्हर्मेंट लँड एनक्रोच करप आणि थंयसर खंयचो तरी स्लम येवप हाज्या पलीकडे कांयच जावनाशिल्लें. बट गव्हर्मेंट इज व्हेरी मच सिरियस. ह्यो गव्हर्मेंट लँड जर आम्ही अशा पद्धतीच्या PPP डिव्हिजनान जर उपयोग हाडलो आसत जाल्यार निश्चितच रित्या द गोवा विल बिकम एज एड्युकेशन हब एज अ इनोव्हेशन सेंटर. आम्ही जे म्हणटा इट इज इनोव्हेशन काउन्सिल ऑलरेडी आसा. गिफ्ट विच यू ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड इन द लास्ट वी हॅड ऑलरेडी एक्टिवेटेड. हांव तर म्हणटलो की द V. शांताकुमार सारकिले गिफ्टाचे मेंबर म्हणून येवपा खातीर ऑलवेज. सो आय एम वेलकमिंग हिम टू कम ऑन द बोर्ड ऑन अ गिफ्ट. सो ऑलवेज अशा पद्धतीच्यो आयडियाज ह्यो गव्हर्मेंटाक वेलकम करता आणि म्हाका दिसता डेफिनेटली ह्या सगळ्या हितून आमकां GCCI जे आसा ऑलवेज हेल्प करतले. हांव GCCI कॉंग्रॅच्युलेट करता अगेन. वी हॅव आमी तांकां त्यांचे फेलिसिटेशन्स आमचो 35th स्टेटहूड डे विथ डिफरंट ऑर्गनायझेशन्स. हांव पळयतालो की प्रत्येक फावटी इंडिव्हिज्युअल ऑर्गनायझेशनाक सरकारा कडल्यान अवॉर्ड मेळटाले. वेगवेगळ्या जाणांक आमी फेलिसिटेशन करताले. बट जी ऑर्गनायझेशन गेली 60 वर्सां 100 वर्सां गोंया खातीर काम करीत आसा इन एड्युकेशनल सेक्टर इन इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर बट तांकां केन्ना तरी रिप्रेझेंटेशन तांकां केन्ना तरी कॉंग्रॅच्युलेट करपाक जाय आशिल्लें. थॉट म्हाज्या मायंडान येयलो आनी केल्या 35th स्टेटहूड डेच्या निमित्तान गोवा चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स हांचे आमी ऑलरेडी तांकां फेलिसिटेशन केले. सो डिफरंट ऑर्गनायझेशन ह्या पद्दतीन काम करता. म्हाका दिसता तांचे फेलिसिटेशन करपाची गरज आसा. आणि हाज्या उपरांत गोवा चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्सा कडल्यान आनीकूय एक्सपेक्टेशन्स आसा की निश्चित रित्या तुमी गोंय सरकाराच्या बरोबर म्हणटा यू हॅव गिवन द प्रपोजल ऑफ इन्वेस्ट गोवा 2022 इन्वेस्ट समीट घडोवन हाडपाचें प्रपोजल फाटले फावटी तुमी आयिल्ले तेन्ना दिला समवेअर इन द सप्टेंबर इन अलॉंग विथ द फिकी. Definitely welcome करता तुमचे प्रपोजल. Will along with you people will organize the Invest Goa Summit in the state of Goa so that बरे इन्व्हेस्टर्स कशे हाडचे. म्हणजे सरकार इन्व्हेस्टरांक इन्वाइट करूं शकना हो मुद्दा म्हणून सांगता. द इन्व्हेस्टर कॅन इन्वाइट इन्व्हेस्टर्स. सो दॅट डेफिनेटली आमी एक बरो इन्व्हेस्ट समीट जर घडून हाडलो जाल्यार आतांच जे विजन बाब रोहन खंवटे आनी हॉस्पिटॅलिटी सेक्टर टुरिझम सेक्टरात दाखयला जे विजन आतांच तुमकां बाब मावीन आनी तेजे वेरियस इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसीज जे आसा ते असेंब्लीत तो प्लेस करपाचो आसा. IPVत ते वेगवेगळे बदल्स त्यांनी सजेस्ट केले. He had sent his team for the different state. He had visited the different industrial sectors in the different state आणि जी पॉलिसीज तो प्लेस करपाचो आसा ताका लागून म्हाका दिसता डेफिनेटली हे आमकां ह्या इन्व्हेस्ट समिटाचो फायदो खऱ्या अर्थान आमकां जावपाक शकता. स्किल इंडिया मिशनाच्या अंतर्गत आम्ही स्किलिंग करपा खातीर ऑलरेडी आम्ही स्टार्ट केला आणि प्रधानमंत्री कौशल्य योजना हाच्या अंतर्गत वेरियस ITIs आसतल्यो इवन दो आमचे पॉलिटेक्निक्स आसतले इंजिनियरिंग कॉलेजीस आसतले. वी हॅव सायन द एग्रीमेंट विथ द डिफरंट ऑर्गनायझेशन. द प्लंबिंग असोसिएशन ऑफ द इंडिया हांच्या बरोबर आम्ही एग्रीमेंट सायन केला. आम्ही FACI हांच्या बरोबर आम्ही एग्रीमेंट सायन करता. अजून एक 2-3 ऑर्गनायझेशन ऑल इंडिया लेवलचे ऑर्गनायझेशन तांच्या बरोबर सायन करता जेणे करून जो स्किल्ड मॅनपॉवर स्किल्ड मॅनफोर्स जो लोकांक जाय त्या पद्धतीचो स्किल्ड मॅनफोर्स तयार करपाक इन एवरी सेक्टर्स फ्रॉम IIT टू ITI टू IIT हाज्या पर्यंत तो स्किल करप ताका ट्रेन करप. म्हाका पयलीं 2 दिसां पयलीं आमचे हाचे आपले CA असोसिएशन्स म्हाका मेळ्ळे. They have also ready agreement with our people. They are signing our agreement with the DHE, Directorate of the Higher Education. The different organizations are फुडे आयले and along with the government, if you sign the agreement, म्हाका दिसता आमी जे म्हणटा रोहनान rightly परत सांगता, rightly सांगता आमी सगळ्या जाणांक गव्हर्नमेंट जॉब दिवपाक शकता ना. It is not possible for the government. त्या खातीर with the help of the organization, with the help of the different industries, we can skill them, we can train them, and we can create a skilled manpower, and it is possible. हांव अजून एकूच मुद्दा म्हणून ज्या मुद्द्याक माविनान टच केले, म्हणजे आमी म्हणटा की गव्हर्नमेंट इज डुईंग एवरीथिंग फॉर द इंडस्ट्री पीपल. तुम्ही पळयात टुरिझम सेक्टरांतलो फॉर द इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर फ्रॉम द मोपा इंटरनॅशनल एअरपोर्ट 15 ऑगस्टाक चालू जाता, फ्रॉम द कनेक्टिंग फ्रॉम द नॅशनल हायवे फ्रॉम द नॉर्थ टू द साउथ गोवा, कनेक्टिंग फ्रॉम द एअरपोर्ट टू द पोर्ट. फक्त एकूच आम उरला पोर्ट कनेक्टिविटी करपाची. अंडर द गती शक्ती वी आर कनेक्टिंग दॅट एवरीथिंग. वी आर रेडी टू डू द लॉजिस्टिक हब ऑल्सो. पण हे सगळे करता असताना विरोध कोणाचो आसा? इट इज एन एंटी इंडस्ट्री एनजीओज, एंटी गव्हर्नमेंट एनजीओज. हांव मुद्दाम म्हणटलो there are so many NGOs, they are supporting also for the government, but few NGOs, they are opposing for the government. गव्हर्नमेंटाचो खंयचो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरल प्रोजेक्ट तांच्यांनी केस घालूंक ना ते सांगात म्हाका. मोपा इंटरनॅशनल एअरपोर्टाचेर केस घातली, मांडवी तिसऱ्या ब्रिजाचेर केस घातली, जुवारी दुसऱ्या ब्रिजाचेर केस घातली, ते इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिटी ताचेर केस घातली, फॉर द टुरिझमाची बिल्डींग थंय येता तिचेर केस घातली. देर इज नॉट अ सिंगल प्रोजेक्ट जो उरूंक ना गव्हर्नमेंटाचो. बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट वी हॅव वेस्टेड लॉट ऑफ टायम, लॉट ऑफ मनी. वी आर फायटिंग इन NGT, वी आर फायटिंग इन सुप्रीम कोर्ट. माझे म्हणणें इतकेच आसा की इंडस्ट्री पीपलांक, इंडस्ट्री ऑर्गनायझेशनाक इट इज माय रिक्वेस्ट, दे आर अपोजिंग फॉर द इंडस्ट्री ऑल्सो, दे आर अपोजिंग फॉर द मरिना. इट इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्रोजेक्ट. आणि मरिना जर आमच्या राज्यात आता आयलो ना आणि गोंया सरकारान he had shown the Singapore, he had given the example of the Singapore, how the Singapore has developed. म्हणजे लहानशी कंट्री कशी डेव्हलप जाल्या ती ताणें एक्झाम्पल सांगलें. अरे आमकां जर सगळ्या जाणांक डेव्हलप जातलें आसत जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता आमकां आत्तां खंय तरी अशा पद्दतींतले जे NGO आहा तेंचे कडेन अक्रॉस द टेबल उलोवचें पडटलें. यू वॉन्ट टू टेक द राल्फ, आय थिंक यू कॅन टेक द इनिशिएटीव एंड यू कॅन स्टार्ट द टॉकिंग विथ दीज पीपल्स. आमी जर उलयले न्ही जाल्यार ते म्हणटाले की गव्हर्नमेंट आमचेर टिका करता वेगवेगळ्यो. पण कोणी तरी सुरवात करपाक जाय. आय थिंक सो मेनी इंडस्ट्री पीपल हॅविंग अ गुड रिलेशन विथ देम ऑल्सो. एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट टॉकिंग विथ देम. म्हाका म्हणटा तेंचे खंय प्रॉब्लेम आसा, कितें प्रॉब्लेम आसा. वी आर नॉट म्हणजे आमकां एनवायरमेंटल डिस्ट्रक्शन्स करपाचें ना. नेवर. वी आर रेडी टू टॉक अक्रॉस द टेबल. खंयचोय प्रोजेक्ट आसत, इट इज वी आर फॉर द स्टेट, वी आर रेडी. म्हणून म्हजें म्हणणें आसा की अशा पद्दतीचे जे एंटी एस्टाब्लिशमेंट जे NGOज आसात, ह्या NGO कडेन कोणी तरी उलोवपाक सुरू करपाची गरज आसा. आणि आय थिंक म्हाका रायट फोरम दिसलो, कारण गोंयांतले सगळे इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट आज ह्या फोरमाचेर आसा आणि तांच्यांनी बरें ते बरें आणि खरें ते खरें म्हणात. म्हणजे सरळ म्हणणें आसा, जे वायट करता आसत जाल्यार तांकां सांगात तुमी करता ते वायट करता. दीस इज नॉट फॉर द स्टेट. आमकां स्टेट फुडें वचपाक जाय. आमकां स्टेट हांव लायक अ सिंगापूर मॉडेल जे टुरिझमाच्या बाबतीत आसतले, ITच्या बाबतीत आसतले, वेगवेगळे लोक जे हांगा येता अशा पद्दतीन जर आमकां विरोध जावपाक लागलो जाल्यार लोक येवपाचेच बंद जातले. इन आमकां वी वॉन्ट टू थिंक इन लॉंग रन. फुडल्या 25 वर्सांचो विचार करपाक जाय. हांवें म्हणून म्हटलें व्ही शांताकुमार हांच्यांनी जे विजन मांडलें 50% बेज ऑलरेडी वी हॅव क्रिएटेड. वी हॅव. आमकां फक्त फुडें व्हरपाची गरज आसा. आनी ते फुडें व्हरपाक म्हाका दिसता दोज हू आर रेडी फॉर द इन्व्हेस्ट इन द गोवा, वी हॅव टू कॉल देम, वी हॅव टू डिस्कस विथ देम. आणि आमकां ताका इन्व्हेस्ट करपा खातीर आमकां ताका प्रोवोक करपाक जाय. आणि हे जर केलें आसत जाल्यारच आमी ह्या पद्दतीन आमी मॉडर्न स्टेट म्हणून म्हणजे गोंय हे टुरिझम कॅपिटल आसा म्हणून सांगपाक मेळटलें आमकां. गोंय हे IT सेक्टरांत नंबर 1 स्टेट आहा म्हणून सांगपाक मेळटलें आमकां. गोंय हे नॉलेज हब आसा हें सांगपाक मेळटलें आमकां. गोवा हो ऑलरेडी ब्रँड आसा तांणी सांगला त्या प्रमाणे. इट इज अ वर्ल्ड नोन ब्रँड. आमकां बाकीच्यो खंयच्योच स्टेटी जगांत ताका कोण वळखना. गोंय इटसेल्फ इज अ ब्रँड. आणि तो जर ब्रँड करतले आसत जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता डेफिनेटली आमकां सगळ्या जाणांक ह्या पद्दतीन विचार करपाचो गरज आसा. मोपा इंटरनॅशनल एअरपोर्ट ऑलरेडी द टुरिझम मिनिस्टर उलयलो. वी आर इनॉग्रेटिंग दॅट प्रोजेक्ट द 15 ऑगस्ट ते 30 ऑगस्ट. हाज्या मदीं केन्ना तरी ऑनरेबल प्रायम मिनिस्टरची डेट मेळ्ळ्या उपरांत ह्याय प्रोजेक्टाचें इनॉग्रेशन जातलें. आणि ताका धरून गती शक्ती द फर्स्ट वर्कशॉप हॅज टेकन बाय अस इन अंडर द लिडरशीप ऑफ ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर नितीन गडकरी. त्याही वर्कशॉपाक बरेच जाण आशिल्ले. त्यांनी गतीशक्तीची मोबिलिटी कशा पद्दतीन गोंयांत ताजो आमी यूज करून घेवपाक शकता, ताजी मोबिलिटी द लॉजिस्टीक हब आम्ही कशा पद्धतीत युटिलायज करून घेवपाक शकता हाचो आमी विचार डेफिनेटली आमी सगळे जाण करतले हाजी हांव इच्छा बाळगिता. इन इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टरात फक्त राल्स उलयता आसतना म्हाका दिसता नॅचरल गॅस ह्या विशयाचेर अंडर GST हाच्या अंडर येवपाक जाय डेफिनेटली त्या विशयाचेर लक्ष दिता. सस्टेनेबल मायनिंग सुरू जावपाक जाय म्हणून सरकारा कडल्यान सगळ्या तरेचो प्रयत्न सुरू आसा. ज्यो ज्यो स्टेप्स आमी मायनिंगाच्या बाबतींत घेतल्या ह्यो सगळ्यो आमकां सस्टेनेबल मायनिंगा कडेन करपाक जाय हाच्या खातीर प्रयत्न आसा. डेफिनेटली इन थोड्या दिसां भितर आमी ते करतले हाची हांव आशा बाळगिता. इन म्हाका दिसता रिगार्डींग द पावर सेक्टराक हांव मुद्दामून टच करता कारण आमी पळयता आसतले फाटले फावटी आमकां शॉर्टेज ऑफ पावर क्रिएट जाली. आमकां मदीं थोडोसो आमकां एक्स्ट्रा टॅरिफ आमकां इंडस्ट्री लोकांकूय सहन करचो पडलो. वी हॅव फॉर्म आमच्या अंडर द गॅडा वी आर ऑलरेडी एम्पॅनल्ड सो मेनी कॉन्ट्रॅक्टर्स. वी हॅव सो मेनी पिपल्स. हांव इंडस्ट्री लोकांक इन्वेस्ट करता की सोलर पावर हाच्या खातीर तुमी ऑन बोर्ड येवचे. ऑलरेडी इंडस्ट्रीज थोड्या जाणांनी ऑलरेडी तांचो गॅडा कडेन आमच्या टायप करपाक सुरवात केल्या. विदाउट युअर इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑल्सो म्हाका दिसता सोलर पावर घेवप शक्य आसा आमच्या पॉलिसीच्या अनुसार. आणि तुमी जर मदत केली आसत जाल्यार आमकां न्यू रिन्युएबल एनर्जी हाच्या अंतर्गत सोलार एनर्जी आसतली ग्रीन एनर्जी आसतली ही हाडपा खातीर इंडस्ट्री सेक्टरांतल्यान जर मदत जाली कारण आमी सगळे शॉर्टेज ऑफ पावर हाजेर सदांच उलयता पण न्यू रिन्युएबल एनर्जी हाच्या खातीर तुमी ती इनिशिएटीव्ह घेवची पडटली. whatever the support required from our new renewable energy department, we are ready to give. Whatever subsidies, anything support, जो support जाय तो गव्हर्नमेंटा कडल्यान सातत्यान तुमकां सगळ्या जाणांक मेळटलो. आणि हे सगळे करता आसतना हांवें म्हटलें कशें तर फ्रॉम द एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर टू द IT सेक्टर्स द गव्हर्नमेंट इज ओपन. द गव्हर्नमेंटाचे आयडियाज आमी तुमच्या समोर मुद्दामून दवरल्या की प्रत्येक सेक्टरात गव्हर्नमेंटाचो विजन आसा की ऑनरेबल प्रायम मिनिस्टर्स विजन तांच्यांनी पळयलें की न्यू इंडिया फॉर्मेशन नवभारत निर्माण करता आसतना तांच्यांनी वेरियस विजन स्किल इंडिया आसतलें फिट इंडिया आसतलें क्लीन इंडिया आसतलें आणि कोविडा सारख्या ठिकाणी आत्मनिर्भर भारत हो विजन ऑनरेबल प्रायम मिनिस्टर तांच्यांनी घेवन आयले. इट इज मेक इन इंडिया आनी मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड हो विजन तांच्यांनी आमच्या समोर दवरलो. म्हाका दिसता आमी गोंयांतल्यान जर तेजी ल्हानशी सुरवात करीत इट इज मेक इन इंडिया मेक इन गोवा अँड मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड. म्हाका खूब बरें दिसता की थोड्या जाणांनी मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड गोंयांतूय काही प्रोजेक्ट सुरवात जाल्या. मेक इन इंडियाच्या अंडर बरेचसे प्रोजेक्टूय गोंयांत सुरवात जाल्या. खरोखरूच म्हाका खूब बरें दिसता. बट होच विजन घेवन जर आमी फुडें वचत आणि गोवा चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स अँड इंडस्ट्रीज अलॉंग विथ द अदर एसोसिएशन गव्हर्नमेंटाच्या बरोबर जर कॉमन प्लॅटफॉर्माचेर आयले आसत जाल्यार आमकां ऑनरेबल प्रायम मिनिस्टराचो विजन आत्मनिर्भर भारत आणि आमी जे स्वयंपूर्ण गोंय 2.0 ऑलरेडी ह्या टेन्युअरांतल्यान आमी सुरवात केला. फॉर द लास्ट टेन्युअरांतल्यान म्हटलें की बऱ्याच जाणांनी स्वयंपूर्ण गोंय कितें काय म्हणून विचारलें. बऱ्याच जाणांक स्वयंपूर्ण गोंय म्हणजे फकाणाय दिसली. बट तेच विजन म्हणजे स्वयंपूर्ण गोंय ह्याच्या अंतर्गत सांगता आसतना विजन 10 पॉयंट प्रोग्राम म्हणजे आमी प्रत्येक गोंयकार हो आमचो सेल्फ सस्टेन जावचो. तेच आसतना म्हणजे विजन हावसिंग फॉर ऑल, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी फॉर ऑल, वॉटर फॉर ऑल, सॅनिटेशन फॉर ऑल, फायनान्शियल सिक्युरिटी फॉर ऑल, सोशल सिक्युरिटी फॉर ऑल हे 10 पॉयंट्स आमी प्रत्येका पर्यंत पावयले. वी हॅव सक्सीड एटलीस्ट 90% वी हॅव सक्सीडेड म्हणजे टू अचीव दीस टार्गेट इन आवर स्वयंपूर्ण गोंय 2.0 हे मिशन सुरू करता आसतना प्रत्येक गोंयकार कशा पद्दतीन सेल्फ सस्टेन जातलो हे विजन आमी पळयता. आमचे पयरूच तालुका नोडल ऑफिसर एक हांगासर वेर दॅट सेल्फ सस्टेन मॉडल पळोवपा खातीर मठात एक जस्ट याद जायना आतां एक सेल्फ सस्टेन मॉडल पळोवपा खातीर आतांच दिसून आयले कणेरी मठ रायट. द कणेरी मठ हांगासर सेल्फ सस्टेनचो मॉडल तांच्यांनी पळयलो. एखाद्या दोंगराचेर जर एखादो कणेरी मठ एस्टाब्लीश जाता आनी फ्रॉम एग्रीकल्चर टू वन ऑफ द बेस्ट न्यूरो स्पेशलिटी डॉक्टर्स त्या हॉस्पिटलांत काम करता. हांवें मुद्दामून सांगलें कणेरी मठांत एग्रीकल्चर थंयसरूच ऑर्गेनीक एग्रीकल्चर तयार जाता आनी बऱ्यांतलो बरो ते न्यूरो सर्जन तांच्या हॉस्पिटलांत काम करता. फ्रॉम मुंबय टू हेवटेन बँगलोर ह्या पुराय बँडाचो न्यूरो सर्जन ना तो न्यूरो सर्जन तांच्या कडेन आसा. तांच्यांनी थंयसरलें विजन वचून पळयलें आनी सेल्फ सस्टेन कशा पद्दतीन जावपाक शकता, प्रत्येक मनीस सेल्फ सस्टेनेबिलिटी कशा पद्दतीन अचीव करपाक शकता हाची सुरवात आमी केल्या. म्हणजे गावागावांतल्यान जवळपास 191 ग्रामपंचायत आणि 14 म्युनिसिपालिटी प्रत्येक तरणाट्याक सेल्फ सस्टेन करपाचो आमचो विचार आसा. इट इज नॉट ओनली इन द एग्रीकल्चर, हॉर्टिकल्चर, डेरी कल्चर, फिशिकल्चर, बट ऑल्सो इन द स्किल डेव्हलपमेंट. वी आर ट्रायंग टू डू दॅट. म्हाका दिसता म्हाका हेल्प जाय ती तुमची, म्हाका हेल्प जाय ती इंडस्ट्रीच्या लोकांची. आणि निश्चितच गोंय जर आमी स्वयंपूर्ण करते आसत जाल्यार ते काम फक्त म्हणजे मुख्यमंत्री आणि माझ्या मंत्र्यांचे न्ही. इतकेच जर आमी गोंय सेल्फ सस्टेन करूं शकना. इंडस्ट्री जर हँड इन हँड आमच्या बरोबर आयली आसत जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता गोंय स्वयंपूर्ण करपाक आमकां चड उशीर लागचो ना. म्हणून आज म्हणजे रिक्वेस्ट आसा तुमकां, म्हाका दिसता प्रत्येक इंडस्ट्रियलिस्टान ठरयलें की हांव फक्त 1 वर्साक किंवा 2 वर्सांच्या भितर एकट्याक तरी सेल्फ सस्टेन करतलो, एकट्याची तरी हँड होल्डिंग करतलो, एकट्याक तरी म्हाज्या बरोबर घेतलो. ताका सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट करपा खातीर वॉट एवर द हेल्प रिक्वायर्ड, पयशे दिवपाची कोणाकूच गरज ना. तुमकांय खबर आसा वॉट एवर वी आर हेल्पिंग टू द एडीसी पासून PMEGP पर्यंत आमी एवरी हेल्प वी आर रेडी टू गिव. ताका गरज आसा ती ताका सपोर्ट करपाची, ताका एड्युकेट करपाचें, ताचें हँड होल्डिंग करपाचें, ताका स्किल्ड करपाचो. आणि हे सगळें तुमी करपाक शकता. डेफिनेटली हांव आशा करता की फुडल्या वर्साच्या जनरल बॉडींतल्यान निश्चितच रित्या म्हाका दिसता म्हणजे सगळे इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट